Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is Monday and we're going to go through a full week of stuff. So, obviously, the weed fabric did not work in my area. We have extremely high winds, and yeah, I got to clean all that up. And you see, the missing pieces are the ones that I had already cleaned up. So I'm going to go through really quickly, not in real life, but in speed through life. This only took a few seconds. In real life, this took quite a bit longer, and that pile is still there waiting for me to clean it up. Just a note that if you are in a high wind area, weed fabric is probably not going to be your friend because there was going to be no mulch or anything over this. I was just going to put in the plant and be good, but did not work. Then I started to remove the border in the big garden because I'm going to be expanding those in the next few weeks to make more room for the snapdragons and the stock that is going to be coming in April and that I have started from seed. That's going to be a job and that's why I've not started it yet. So we are getting super close to April and I need to get it done. But for right now, just moving the boards out because they are going to be repurposed. Then we have to move all of the blueberry plants and all of the raspberry plants up to the front because last year the birds got to them before I did. So I figured if they are moved up closer to the house, I'm going to be able to actually keep an eye on them much better. And if I have to, I will put bird netting up, and I really don't want to. That stuff is just it's so hard to deal with, and I can't stand it. And we get so many limbs that fall all the time that it just gets tangled in. The blueberries, however, came up fairly easily. I know they will probably get stunted, but that is all right. We will eventually have blueberries. I'm going to replant them in this area because they need a more acidic soil, and I am actually able to control this soil a bit better than anywhere else in the garden up near the house. And this gets a ton of sun right here. So hopefully they will be super happy. If not, I can always dig them back up and replant them. As long as you are careful with the roots, you should be good to replant. And these are things you just learn over time on your property as you're living there. And where the sun is, how the soil is, where things will go, and you just try out new things. Then we move on to Tuesday, because yes, that was all one day, and many more things happened that day. Then I finally get back to move out the raspberries. This was not as simple, y'all. Raspberry roots are big. And they're viney, and it was insane. That first one, however, I think got root rot or something else, but there's also mycelium on there, which is actually really good. So I did go ahead and keep those and get them transplanted. As you can see, this last one has given me some grief because that root goes about 4 feet underneath where I'm sitting. So we get to huff all these because I finally have my trailer and lawnmower back, which eventually got stuck. And we are back up front. This is the light pole near the house in the what I'm calling the chaos garden. And I'm going to put the raspberries here because also another easy place to put up netting if I have to. And I can easily control the soil here. This is where I had the zinnias last year. This was sort of my tester area where I just threw in all the seeds and wanted to see what happened. And it went really, really well. So just digging up big enough holes to get them in, and they are now happy and secured in their new home even after all of the wind we had. And now I'm just covering them back up because we're going to get a cold snap. I'm also finally, y'all, getting to my heirloom climbing roses. So I have to dig all of these up because they got swallowed by weeds last year and they are too expensive to just let them be swallowed up. And I'm not going to let that happen. As you can see, I am holding onto the fence for dear life because we have had a ton of rain and that pond is never that high. And everywhere I walk, I'm just trying to not die.
Since roses do not like very, very wet roots, I'm going to grab some pea gravel and put them in the pots so that I can keep it well drained. That's what's going on here. And then we're going to go pop some soil in them, pop the roses in them, and the roses will be transplanted and done on this deadly, deadly mission where I keep getting stabbed. What we have in this big pile behind me is all the topsoil from our front yard. Now, if I don't seem as cheery as I normally am, I'm tired and this crap's heavy and I keep getting stabbed. So there's that. All right, so I'm going to take our soil, pop it into the buckets, put the roses in, top it off, and then take them to their new homes. That is the goal. You are a stabby, stabby dude. This is their for now home. This is not permanent, but it does get full sun, so that's why they are here. We're going to turn this guy though until the stabbies are going in the direction not toward people. There we go. Stabbies that way. All right. That is the raspberries and the roses. Now we get to do the elderberries, which I'm hoping are much simpler than this. Because I'm tired. At least I don't have to dig because the elderberries are going in the rose holes. So, bonus.
It is time to start the elderberry. This is one of the simplest things you can do to propagate something on your property. I hack these things down to my knees every year, and every year they get about 10 feet tall. What you're looking for, I'll explain in the next segment when we're doing this yet again because I transplanted a ton of elderberries. Hello, Wednesday. All right. So when you are transplanting elderberries, you just need to make sure you have a node at the bottom and a node at the top. One of the leaf nodes needs to go in the ground. And that's absolutely it. I am taking these and I'm going to plant them around the perimeter of where the chicken run is going to go because if you have never heard chickens purr, it is one of the best sounds in the world. And I noticed when they get out in the summertime, they always run and hide underneath the elderberries and just start purring like crazy. So I wanted to give them this in their run so they didn't have to try to escape. And we are doing a lot of it. So that entire row you're seeing is all going to be part of the chicken run. And then it backs over to the pond where I have peppermint, and I will be planting more items that will hopefully help deter bugs. The elderberry around the pond is also going to attract certain birds that eat a ton of bugs. On top of that, I will have beetle bags that will not only deter the beetles from my elderberry, but will attract bats because the beetles, which also eat more bugs. My goal this year, the bugs gotta go. I love being outside. I hate bugs. On the note of bugs, this tree right here we call the tick tree. There, I don't know why they love this tree so much. And yes, the camera fell over. It was windy. And they do. They absolutely love this tree. So I'm going to get it all cleaned up. And that's another reason the chickens are going back over into this area because the chickens will eat the ticks. And that will make me extremely happy because Lyme disease is a real thing, y'all. And I have a friend with it, and it's not fun. So this is also me questioning my life choices because I'm exhausted. Then we move over to getting this big branch cleared out. A tree service was coming up and cleaning up the roads, and I'd asked them for a quote, and they kindly cut this limb down for me so that we could easily get around it. And then, yeah, I don't even know where I was going with that because I'm losing all power of thought right now. We're going to be picking up the limbs and putting them into our huge brush pile and adding on to where the animals can live. And then, as you can see, I'm putting some of them off to the side and I'm going to line the Chaos Garden area with this. I want the Chaos Garden to be extremely rustic and try to repurpose as much as I can. The only thing that is not really repurposed up here is the weed fabric and the pea gravel. And the reason I didn't want to do permaculture up here is because there is so much poison ivy that we just can't get up out of the ground that the main option, the best option was for weed fabric, and pea gravel. And now we're on to Thursday because Thursday and I was struggling by this day, y'all. We're going to build the beds for the garden. I am not a carpenter. I am in no way a carpenter. So if you see me doing weird things, it's because I haven't quite figured out what I'm doing yet. Um, I forget how many beds. I think there are 8 or 9 beds that are being built. And I actually had to load up the sides as I was cutting the end pieces so that I knew the math I had to do to get everything in the right number of pieces. And then I learned that I have to move the sawhorses closer together, which is why my wood was not cutting exactly right. So by this point, I figured that out. And putting these together is going to be a very short little stint because the wind got so bad that everything blew over and was blowing around, and I actually had to stop and go inside because so much dirt was flying in my eye. Which brings us to Friday, where it's a very short scene of me trying to build these beds and looking utterly paranoid because my neighbor's dogs were out and they almost attacked me at the big garden the week before this. And so, yeah, my daughter's bringing me out some things to make sure I am not hurt in any way. And we are going to put the ends on this bed. I have already done this multiple times, and I couldn't figure out when they moved to the star end screws, which really confused me until I got the hang of it. And then I was like, oh wow, these are a lot faster. If you've made it this far in the video, I so appreciate y'all. Um, I hope you have a blessed and magical week, y'all. Thank you for sticking around. Bye.